Everyone needs to stop talking like Jake is a YouTuber. Jake is a boxer. Jake has more money than 99% of professional boxers on the planet. He has a full-time training camp. He lives with a full-time gym, full-time trainers. He's dedicated his life to this sport for nearly 7 or 8 years. That's a professional boxer. He's an ex-YouTuber. And this whole narrative...
Look, here's the situation that's got everyone talking. Jake Paul isn't just confident about taking on Andrew Tate in a boxing ring. This guy is straight up convinced beyond any doubt that he'd completely demolish Tate without breaking a sweat. We're talking about a fight that Jake believes would end so fast, most people wouldn't even finish opening their snacks.
I mean, you fight Andrew, how would it go?
I would win very, very quickly.
This bold prediction he's thrown out there has sparked what's probably the hottest potential rivalry in crossover combat sports right now. And this isn't some random comment he made while scrolling through Twitter or during a casual podcast appearance. Jake's putting everything on the line with this statement. His reputation, his credibility as a fighter, everything. The influencer boxing world is going absolutely wild, trying to break down every angle of what would happen if these two massive personalities with their huge followings and even bigger egos actually settled this in the ring once and for all.
An MMA fight between Jake Paul, Logan Paul, Tristan Tate, Andrew.
Really, we're talking about Andrew here. Tristan's not really in this equation. That's like the light work. 10 mil for Andrew, 10 mil for Tristan, 10 mil for you, 10 mil for me.
But here's what they'll say. I don't need this for the money. You're going to have to slap $50 million for me even to get out of bed. But if you have money, then why is it about the money? What it shouldn't be about the money. It should be solely for entertainment and to figure out who's really about it. And we're telling you.
The Paul brothers versus the Tate brothers has been this ongoing conversation that keeps bubbling up in the fighting community. It never really disappears, always lurking in the background, coming back stronger every time someone brings it up. But something's different now. Something's shifted that has everyone paying attention with renewed focus and intensity.
Tristan and Andrew Tate versus you two.
Oh,
that's the fight. I would love it. The two brothers, fight. That's the fight.
That would be crazy.
Tristan and Andrew. Who would get Tristan? You'd get Tristan. You're more... No? You want Andrew?
Yeah, he'd probably make me take Tristan.
I feel like
because he's the seasoned boxer.
You fight.
That's a good fight.
That's a good fight. That's fun.
I mean, you fight Andrew. How would it go?
I would win very, very quickly. I'm excited to see his fight. He's been out of the ring for a long time.
Fresh developments and recent statements have thrust this potential showdown back into the center of attention. Everyone's analyzing possibilities, breaking down scenarios, discussing every what if. Jake's gearing up for what could be his biggest test yet in professional boxing. Andrew's making his comeback to combat sports after years away from the ring. The timing of these storylines converging makes this absolutely magnetic for fans and promoters who can see the massive financial potential from miles away.
Andrew Tate is back. Back on Misfits, he's fighting.
He's the CEO apparently. It seems like they're trying to set something up with KSI in the future, so yeah, that's cool to see that.
You still call Tate? Do you still speak to him? I know you had a relationship earlier, I think like 2023, you were kind of hanging out with him.
It sounded a little gay.
No, not relationship, but like friendship.
No, we were never friends. I mean, I knew him a little bit, but no, it is what it is. He's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing.
What's really fascinating about the behind-the-scenes dynamics is this. Win or lose in their upcoming fights, the Jake Paul versus Andrew Tate matchup is being treated as a certainty by so many people in this space. Commentators, other fighters, promoters, seeing dollar signs everywhere. Nobody's asking if this will happen anymore. They're asking when. That shift in language tells you everything about how much steam this potential fight has built up and how real everyone thinks this actually is.
Really in my DMs, this new generation of people don't understand the lines. Karma is real. Wishing genuine harm on people or insulting people's coaches or doing these terribly things.
Your coach is a better.
You end up paying the price. And we're going to see on the night.
Fraud.
I promise you, continue to disrespect me. Unfortunately for you, you're not going to have a career after.
I'm the heavyweight champion. I do what I want. You do what I say.
Right now, Jake's locked into training camp, completely focused and committed to preparing for his David versus Goliath showdown against heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua, a legitimate world title holder with real credentials and genuine knockout power that could end everything with one shot.
My only question for you is, Andrew, is why did you want 6 rounds and not agree to the 10? Because you don't have the gas tank. Why did you want a weight clause? Because you're not big enough. You're not strong enough. Why do you want your venue, your city, your everything? Why are these the questions that nobody's asking you? We all know the answer to them. We just don't want to say it because you're surrounded by a bunch of...
That fight alone has people arguing whether Jake has finally pushed too far this time, whether he's crossed from confidence straight into delusion. This isn't another crossover fighter or YouTuber looking for attention or an MMA fighter switching sports. This is a genuine heavyweight champion who's competed at the absolute pinnacle of boxing.
Yes. Good. Yes.
You know, what do you think about him being the CEO? You're fighting the CEO of the promotion that you're fighting for.
A 38-year-old man coming off his prison sentence, he comes up there and puts me down in the first, second round, then I would retire from fighting entirely. It's not for me. So I'm feeling very confident going into this. And I think if you remove the followers away from Andrew Tate and take him for what he is, 4-3 light heavyweight boxer, and I was just fighting a random guy. These guys on the internet, these guys on Twitter would be like, oh, you're fighting a 4-3 guy that fights at light heavyweight. You're going to dominate him, you know, because he's got the cult following, because he's got this. People are trying to say he's more than what he is, but you have to take it for what it is and remove the followers. And let's go fight. The followers aren't fighting for you in the ring.
Even with this enormous challenge looming that should demand his complete attention and force him to block out all distractions, Paul hasn't backed down from discussing future opponents and what comes next after Joshua. And Andrew Tate's name keeps surfacing in these conversations like clockwork. During discussions with his brother Logan and popular streamer Aiden Ross, who's connected throughout the combat sports world, this potential matchup gets talked about less like some far-off possibility and more like unfinished business waiting for the perfect moment to explode into the biggest crossover boxing event ever. The conversation gained serious traction when Logan openly considered the wild concept of a double-header, featuring both Paul brothers facing Andrew and Tristan Tate on the same card. Picture this for a moment. Two brothers fighting two brothers in the ultimate family rivalry spectacle. The kind of event that would break social media and generate headlines for weeks. Fans instantly gravitated toward this idea, especially considering the constant online tension and back and forth between these camps that's been building for months, maybe years. Regular shots fired on social media platforms. Aiden Ross jumped into the discussion, casually organizing matchups like he was actually promoting the event, putting Logan across from Tristan, and naturally setting up Jake versus Andrew based on their sizes and fighting styles. Even Logan seemed unsure which Tate brother he'd prefer facing, suggesting he might want Andrew for stylistic reasons but acknowledging Jake would probably push him toward Tristan anyway because of competitive dynamics and strategic thinking about their records. When attention turned directly to Jake Paul and he faced the question about Andrew Tate head-on with nowhere to deflect, his confidence remained absolutely solid. Zero doubt in his voice or body language. He made it perfectly clear that Andrew Tate represents no long-term challenge whatsoever in the boxing ring. This wouldn't be some grinding battle that tests his limits. He expects a quick and decisive finish if they ever meet. Early rounds, possibly first or second. That trademark unshakable self-belief got reinforced by his curiosity about Tate's upcoming fight, specifically highlighting how long Andrew has been away from active high-level competition, how many years removed from real fights against serious opponents. From Jake's perspective, which he's voiced across multiple interviews and social posts, that ring rust and extended absence could be the deciding factors, especially against someone like him, who stays consistently active, constantly training, constantly improving and sharpening his skills in the gym. Meanwhile, others in Andrew Tate's circle push a completely different narrative that contradicts Jake's assessment entirely. Sneeko, a frequent and vocal supporter in Tate's orbit, went on record backing Tate to cruise through his scheduled fight with Chase DeMoor without any real effort, basically non-competitive from the opening bell. He described the matchup as heavily favoring Tate, suggesting Andrew only enters the ring when circumstances strongly lean his way, when every advantage is locked down before the first bell rings. Smart strategic approach when you think about it. While Sneeko clarified he has nothing personal against DeMoor and even wished him well as a competitor, he remained convinced that Tate would overwhelm him without facing meaningful resistance or being put in any real danger throughout the fight. One-sided demolition that ends quickly. Adin Ross expressed remarkably similar thoughts, reinforcing this widespread belief among Tate supporters that his advantage extends far beyond physical attributes like size, reach, or punching power. From Ross's viewpoint, shared multiple times on streams and podcasts where he analyzes fights, Tate's years of discipline, intense mindset training, and extensive competitive experience across multiple combat sports, like kickboxing, create a gap that someone like DeMoor cannot realistically bridge, regardless of training intensity or determination or belief. Ross even strongly hinted at attending the event himself, especially if other recognizable faces from crossover boxing confirmed attendance, adding another layer of spectacle and guaranteed social media chaos to an event already generating massive engagement across Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. The question everyone's debating in comment sections and group chats is straightforward but loaded with implications. Does Andrew Tate beat Chase DeMoor? If so, how convincingly? And what does that mean for the potential Jake Paul fight later? The backstory of certain interactions during this build-up caught attention from fans who followed Tate's career since his early days, grinding in smaller promotions. Sidekick Boxing, a well-known brand with real credibility in combat sports, actually supported Tate throughout his rise in professional kickboxing, backing him long before supercars, private jets, and massive global fame became his daily reality. Tate spoke genuinely and positively about the brand during his competitive years, truly valuing their support when he was still building his reputation, when he was grinding and nobody knew who he was or cared about his opinions. Now seeing that same company publicly interact and engage with his upcoming opponent on social media, liking posts, commenting encouragement, adds another psychological layer to what was already an incredibly emotional buildup, filled with tension and personal stakes beyond just winning and losing. Serious questions have emerged about the actual fight structure and contractual details. People are digging into fine print and analyzing every clause. DeMoor directly accused Tate of inserting multiple favorable conditions into the bout agreement, claiming the deck has been deliberately stacked in Tate's favor from legal and logistical standpoints. According to DeMoor's public statements, made repeatedly in interviews, podcasts, and YouTube videos, the contract includes specific conditions benefiting Tate across multiple fronts, from weight limits and weigh-in protocols to various fight logistics that could impact performance on fight night. Details that might seem minor but could make huge differences. Here's where things get more interesting and controversial. Though the bout is officially marketed as a heavyweight title fight by Misfits Boxing in all promotional material, press releases, and social media announcements, DeMoor claims both fighters are actually restricted from weighing more than 200 pounds on fight night, effectively turning this into a cruiserweight matchup instead of true heavyweight competition, completely changing dynamics and expectations. He also pointed to a rehydration clause, limiting how much weight fighters can regain after official weigh-ins, which is massive in combat sports, because fighters often cut significant weight, then rehydrate for advantages. He expressed genuine frustration over fighting conditions themselves, suggesting the entire event is being set up in Tate's preferred environment, with judges, referees, and equipment all aligned to his comfort and advantage. DeMoor even alleged there were attempts to dictate his glove selection and require him to fight using house gear provided by the promotion, rather than personal equipment he's trained with for years and trusts completely, creating significant disadvantage. Despite voicing all these concerns publicly and making clear through multiple statements that he feels the playing field isn't level, that he's walking into a rigged situation favoring his opponent, DeMoor emphasized repeatedly that he accepted every single condition without resistance or renegotiation attempts. From his perspective, voiced on every platform he can access, the absolute priority was simply getting Andrew Tate into the ring and making this fight happen, regardless of disadvantages he might face, because he believes in his ability to overcome them through skill and determination. He framed himself as someone genuinely accustomed to being counted out and dismissed, pointing to a history of entering fights as the underdog across multiple promotions and defying expectations through early knockouts and explosive performances that shocked everyone watching. That underdog mindset he suggested confidently would carry directly into this bout regardless of any contractual disadvantages or favorable conditions. Tate might have secured through behind-the-scenes negotiations.